Hello and welcome to another video. In this session I will practice 10 questions of the critical reasoning part from the official guide 2022 GMAT. Okay, so just like my other videos, I will solve in the minimum time I can devote. But in this session, I will make some changes in my strategy or approach to attempt the question. I will first read the question, okay, and after reading the question I will get a grasp of it, what the question is asking. Then I will read the passage. So in this strategy I am just trying to get a peek of what I am just speaking what the question might be. So just applying this strategy I have to see, can I do it in lesser time, am I able to score more efficiently. So this is just a try and nothing else. Okay, so let's start the timer without any delay. Question number 741. Which one of the following is true would best support the owner's plan in light of manager's concern? So there are two persons, owner's plan and manager's concern. Coffee shop owner, which best support, that means it is strengthening question. A large number of customers will pay at least the fair market value for a cup of. Okay, let me start. Yeah. Just wait for 2 or 3 seconds just to make it even. Yeah. Coffee shop owner. A large number of customers will pay at least the fair market value for a cup of coffee, even if there is no formal change. Okay. Some will pay more than this out of appreciation of the trust that is placed in them, and our total number of customers is likely to increase. We therefore improve our net cash flow by implementing an honor system in which customers pay what they wish or coffee by depositing money in a can. Okay. Okay. Manager says we likely to lose money on this plan. Many customers would cheat the system, paying a very small sum and nothing at all. Would they support owners in the light of manager's concern? New system, if implemented, would increase the number of customers. Yeah, okay. By roasting its own coffee, the shop has managed to reduce the difficulty and cost of maintaining freshly. This is out of context. Many customers stay in the cafe for long stretches of time. This is again out of context. The shop makes a substantial profit from pastries and other food bought by the coffee drinkers. Out of context. No other coffee shop in the area has such a system. Okay. So these two are the contenders for answer. Which of the following would best support the owner's plan in the light of manager's cost? New system would increase the number of customers. No other function system. I think I will go with it. Okay. Moving on to the next question. Okay. Which one of the following is an assumption on which the argument relies? Assumption question. Birds have been said to descended from certain bird-like dinosaur species which they share distinct structural features. The fossil record, however, shows that this cannot be so, since there are bird fossils that are much older than the earliest bird-like dinosaurs that have been found. The bird-like dinosaurs have no living descendants. The bird-like dinosaurs have no living descendants. Okay, this can be. There are no flightless dinosaur species that have the distinctive structure features shared by birds and bird-like dinosaurs. That have the distinct structural features shared by birds and bird-like dinosaurs. I will not go because what if there is flight or flightless? There are no bird-like dinosaur fossils that are older than bird fossils but have not been yet unearthed. Okay. It could not have been the case that some birds were descended from one of the bird-like dinosaur species and the other was from another. Since the bird fossils are much older, than the earliest bird-like dinosaur fossils. Could have not been the case that some birds were descended from one of the bird-like. No, this is not so strong. Birds cannot have been descended from dinosaur species with which the birds do not share the distinctive structural features. So what it is said that birds have said to be descended from certain bird-like, okay, and they share distinctive structural features. The fossil record also that this cannot be because the birds fossil that are much older than the earliest dinosaur fossils that have been found. No living descendants. Oh no, no living descendants is out of context because of the word living. There are no flightless dinosaur species that have distinctive structural features shared by birds and bird-like dinosaurs. There are no bird-like dinosaur fossils that are older than bird fossils but have not yet been unearthed. It could not have been the case that some birds were descended from one of the bird-like dinosaur species and other from another. No. So I will go with C. Why? Because this seems to be a pretty strong statement for this. Okay, let's see. Let's move on to 743. The city council members propose assumes which of the following. Again, there is an assumption. The city council member demand for electricity has been increasing by 1.5% a year, and there simply is no more space to build additional power plants to meet the future demand increase. We must therefore begin to curtail usage, which is why I propose passing ordinance requiring energy conservation measures in all city development. Existing power plants do not have the capacity to handle all the projected increase in the demand. Yes, this can be an assumption. No city departments have implemented energy conservation measures voluntarily. Out of context, passing ordinances designed to curtail electricity usage will not have negative economic consequences for the city. Okay, this can be an assumption. Residential consumers are not responsible for the recent increase in the demand for electricity. Okay, we don't know for whom there has been an increase, so this is not the correct choice. City department that successfully conserve energy will set a good example for residential and industrial consumers of electricity. Okay, this can be also a possible answer. Let's see, we must therefore begin to curtail usage, which is why I propose passing ordinances requiring energy conservation measures in all city departments. Existing power plants do not have the capacity to handle all the projected increase in demand of electricity. Yeah. Okay. Passing ordinances designed to cut electricity usage will not have negative economic consequences for the city. So we are not concerned about the economic consequences, so this is out. City department that successfully conserve energy will set a good example for residential and industrial consumers. So this is also out of context. Okay. Why? Because we are not interested whether they are setting a good example or bad example. This is an assumption on which it is based. Certain groups of Asian snakes include, okay, which one of the following would, if true, most strengthen the argument that asymmetrical snake jaws helped drive left-handed snail evolution? Strengthening. Certain groups of Asian snake includes both left-handed and right-handed species, with cells coiling to the left and right respectively. Some left-handed species have evolved from right-handed ones. Also, researchers found that snail-eating snakes in the same habitat have asymmetrical jaws, allowing them to grab right-handed snails more easily. Okay, if these snakes ate more right-handed snails over time, this would have given left-handed snails an evolutionary advantage over right-handed snails, with the left-handed snails eventually becoming a new species. Thus, the snake's asymmetrical jaws probably helped drive the emergence of the left-handed snail species. Strengthening. In one snake species, the snakes with asymmetrical jaws eat snails, while the snakes with symmetrical jaws do not eat snails. No, not correct choice. Some species of Asian snails contain either all right-handed snails or left-handed snails. This is not helping. Anatomical differences prevent left-handed snails from mating easily with right-handed snails. This is out of context. Some right-handed snails in this habitat have cells with a very narrow opening that helps prevent snakes from extracting the snails from inside their cell. Out of context. Experiments show that the snail-eating snakes in this habitat fail more often in trying to eat left-handed snails than in trying to eat. Yeah, of course. This is the correct answer, without doubt. 7:45. Okay. Which one of the following would, if true, most strongly support the prediction that the plan would achieve its goal? So this is strengthening question. A moderately large city is redesigning its central downtown area and is considering a plan that would reduce the number of lanes for automobiles and trucks and increase those for bicycle and pedestrians. Okay, the intent is to attract more workers and shoppers to downtown business by making downtown area to reach and more pleasant to move around in. Reduce the number of lanes for automobiles, trucks and increase those for bicycle and pedestrians. Okay, which one of the following would, if true, most strongly? Okay, people who make a habit of walking or bicycling whenever feasible derive significant health benefits from them. Okay. The intent is to attract more workers and shoppers to downtown business by making downtown easier to reach and more pleasant to move around in. So we are not concerned about health. Most people who prefer to shop at suburban malls instead of downtown urban areas do so because parking is easier and cheaper in former. Okay, this can be. In other moderately sized cities where measures were taken to make downtowns more accessible for walkers and cyclists, business will thrive. Okay, yeah, this is more stronger than the previous one. If the proposed lane restrictions on drivers are rigorously enforced, more people will likely to be attracted to downtown business than would otherwise. Okay, this is also. Most people who own and frequently ride bicycle for recreational purpose live at significant distance from the downtown. Okay, this is not concerned. Okay, so which one of the following, if true, most strongly support the prediction that a plan will achieve its goal? Most people who prefer to solve we are not concerned about parking, right? It is for easier to move around in. Okay, let's see C and D. In other moderately sized cities where measures are taken to make downtowns more accessible for walkers and cyclists. Downtown business began to thrive. Yeah, this is supporting. If the proposed lane restriction on drivers are rigorously enforced, more people will likely be attracted to downtown business than would otherwise be. In other moderately sized cities where measures were taken to make downtowns began to thrive on this if the proposed lane restriction drivers are rigorously followed, more people will likely be attracted to downtown business than would otherwise be. So this is a pattern proof, right, statement. So this has already happened to other cities. So I think this is more strong than this one because it says that a lane restriction, if it is enforced, more people will be attracted to downtown business than would otherwise be. This also seems correct. See, here it says the intent to attract more workers and shoppers. This is a moderately large city. This is moderately sized cities where measures were taken to make downtowns more accessible for workers and cyclists. I still think it's C, though I am confused with D also. Okay, so this is 50-50 to me. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Which one out of 22 most strongly supports? That means it is strengthening question. Previously, Atoco designed all of its cards itself and then contracted with specialized parts suppliers to build parts according to its specification. Now it plans to include its suppliers in designing the parts they are to build. Since many parts suppliers have more designers with specialized experience than Atoco has, Atoco expects that this shift to reduce the overall time and cost to design of its next new car. Atoco expects this shift to reduce the overall time and cost of the design of its next new car. When suppliers provide their own design, Atoco often needs to modify its overall design. Now, because it will increase the time. In order to provide design for Atoco, several of the parts suppliers will have to add to their existing staff of designers. Now, we are not concerned whether they have to add stuff or not. Parts and services provided by outside suppliers account for more than 50% of Atoco's total cost. Okay, since it contains cost and here cost is mentioned, I will keep it in. When suppliers build parts according to specification provided by Autoco, the suppliers competed to win contracts. Now it plans to include suppliers in designing the parts they are to build. Uh, since many parts suppliers have more designers with specialized experience than Autoco has. Autoco explains this shift to reduce the overall time. Okay. When suppliers build parts according to specifications provided by Autoco, the suppliers compete to win. This is out of context. Most of the Autoco's suppliers have on hand a wide range of previously prepared parts design that can readily be. Okay, so we are down with two. Parts and services provided by outside suppliers account for more than 50% of the Autoco's total. No, this is not, because we are not concerned whether it's 50% or 60%. Will it increase or decrease the thing? Autopay expects this shift to reduce the overall time and cost and design its next car. Most of the asset supply has on hand a wide range of tools that can readily be modified with a new car. I will go with E. This seems correct. Okay, 747. Which one out of following, if true, most helps to support the scientific strengthening? In response to viral infection, the immune system of mice typically produce antibodies that destroy the virus by binding to proteins on its surface. Okay, mice infected with the herpes virus generally develop keratitis, a degenerative disease affecting part of the eye. Since proteins on the surface of the cell in this part of the eye closely resemble those of this virus surface, scientists hypothesize that these cases of keratitis are caused by antibodies to the herpes virus. Which one of the following is true? Most helps to support the scientific reasoning. Other type of virus have surface protein that closely resemble protein found in various organs of mice. Okay, okay. Mice that are infected with herpes virus but do not develop keratitis produce as many antibodies as infected mice that to develop keratitis. Let me read it once. In response to viral infection, the immune system of mice typically produce antibodies that destroy the virus by binding to proteins on its surface. Mice infected with herpes virus generally develop keratitis that usually happens with butterfly. The proteins on the surface of the cells in this part of the eye closely resemble those of the herpes virus. Scientists hypothesize that these cases of keratitis are caused by antibodies to the herpes virus. Okay, so hypothesize that cases of keratitis are caused by the antibodies and not the herpes virus. Okay, mice infected by herpes virus but do not develop keratitis produce as many antibodies as infected mice that do not develop. Not concerned with the mice infected with a new strain of herpes that has different surface protein did not develop keratitis. Okay, this is strong. Mice that have never been infected with herpes virus can sometimes develop keratitis. So this is weakening. There are mice that are unable to form antibodies in response to herpes infection, and these mice contract herpes at roughly the same rate as others. This is not a concern. So protein A and C. Other type of virus have surface protein that closely resemble protein found in various organs of the mice. But does it help to answer that it is happening due to the antibodies? No. So this is out. Left with C. Okay, 748. Which one of the following would, if true, provide the strongest explanation for the researcher's reaction? Strongest explanation for the researchers. So this one is explanation. Why? One might expect that within a particular species, any individual that managed to slow down the aging process. Okay, one might expect that within a particular species, any individual that managed to slow down the aging process would leave more offspring. Natural selection should therefore favor extreme longevity, but this does not seem to be the case. A possible explanation is that aging is a product of the inevitable wear and tear of living, similar to how household appliances generally accumulate faults that lead to their eventual demise. However, most researchers do not find this analogy satisfactory as an explanation. One might expect that within a particular species, any individuals that manage to slow down the aging process, okay, would leave more offspring. Natural selection should therefore favor extreme longevity, but a product of inevitable wear and tear. However, most researchers do not find this analogy satisfactory as an explanation. Which one of the following is true provide the strongest explanation for the researcher's reaction? Why the researchers are not happy with the explanation? Some organisms are capable of living much longer than other organisms. So what? Some organisms produce very quickly despite having short lives. Okay. So the explanation is that aging generally accumulate is a product of inevitable wear and tear. This one is the explanation. So why the researchers are why the researchers agree or do not agree to this explanation? Some organisms produce very quickly. I don't think this is the case. There are several ways of defining extreme longevity, and according to some definitions, it occurs out of interest. Organisms are capable of maintenance and self-repair and can remedy much of the damage they accumulate. Yeah, this can be possible answer. Some organisms generate much more wear and tear on their bodies than others. But nothing has been said about the longevity. So we are left with D. I will go with D. 749. Okay, this is the bold-faced question. Last year, a record number of new manufacturing jobs were created. Will this year bring another record? Well, any new manufacturing job is created either within an existing company or by a startup of a new company. Okay, last year any new manufacturing job is created. Okay, within existing firms, new jobs has been created this year at well below last year's record. At the same time, there is considerable evidence that the number of new companies starting up this year will be no higher than it was last year. There is no reason to think that the new companies starting up this year will create more jobs per company than it did last year. So clearly the number of new jobs created this year will fall short of last year's. So this is the final verdict. Conclusion. This is the conclusion. This is a premise, or I say this is one of the reasons given. There is no reason to think that the new company starting this year will create. Okay, so this is also one sort of the conclusion. The first provides evidence in support of main conclusion of the argument. The main conclusion is this one. Any new manufacturing. No, this is clearly not. It does not challenge. The first is a generalization that the argument seeks to establish. Okay, yeah. The second is a conclusion that the argument draws in order to support that generalization. Second is a conclusion that the argument draws in order to support the generalization. Okay, I will keep it open. The first is generalization that the argument seeks to. The second is a judgment that has been advanced in order to challenge the generalization. No, it's not challenging. It's not challenging. The first is presented as an obvious truth on which the argument is based, correct. The second is a claim that has been advanced in support of a position that the argument opposes. No, it does not oppose. The first is presented as an obvious truth on which the argument is based. The second is a judgment advanced in support of the main conclusion. Yeah, this is the correct answer. Why? Because see, this one does not necessarily support the generalization. Rather, this one is the first is a generalization that the argument seeks to establish. Okay. The second is a conclusion that the argument draws in order to support that generalization. So these do not support this one. No? Actually, this one will support the first one. The first one will support the second one. Okay, sorry. The first one will support the second one. Okay. Now moving on to the final question, 750. Let's see. This is again bold question. Last year, a record number of new manufacturing jobs were created. So it is the same one. Okay, let's see. Last year, a record number of new manufacturing jobs were created. Will this year bring any new manufacturing? Okay, this is clearly the same. The number of new jobs created this year will fall short of the second year. There is no reason to think. So clearly, the number of new jobs created this year will fall short of last year. So this is the conclusion, main conclusion. Okay. The first is presented as an obvious truth on which the argument is based. The second is the main conclusion. Yeah, this is the answer. But still, I will look for the other options. The first is presented as an obvious truth on which the argument is based. The second is a conclusion drawn in order to support the main conclusion. No, this is the main conclusion. Second. The first and second provide evidence in support of the main conclusion. Now, this is the main conclusion itself. The first is a generalization that the argument seeks to establish. The second is the main conclusion. Okay, this can also be. The first is a generalization that the argument seeks to establish. The second is a conclusion that has been drawn in order to challenge. No, this is not challenging. So between A and D, the first is presented as an obvious truth on which the argument is based. This is an obvious truth. The second is the main conclusion. Okay, these two are same. But the first is a generalization that the argument seeks to establish. The argument do not seek to establish that any new manufacturing job is either created within. So this is actually an obvious truth. Okay, so I will go with A only. Uh, so this is my result today. I will have to seek the answers from 741. So let's move on to the answer section. From 741 to 750. So I will see 741 to 750. Okay, DCAE. Oh my goodness, the first one was incorrect. DCAE. DCAE. Then CECD. See, it was my first choice and it comes out to be true. Okay, I'm happy for that, but I have to see what reason they have given for D. CECD. CECD. Then EA. EA. So see, I have done 9 questions correctly, but as always I am getting one wrong. I don't know how to overcome this one. I have to make 100% right. That is the target. But every time there is one mistake. See, the first one was a mistake. 741. Okay, now move on. Let us move on to the explanation part. What it has given about the answer. 741. Okay. 741. 741. Okay. Yeah, this one. Coffee shop owner, a large number of customers will pay. Okay. The new system, if implemented, would increase the number of customers. So according to me, it would best support the owner's plan in the light of managers. Okay. And answer D is the correct answer. The shop makes a substantial profit from pastries and other food bought by the coffee drinkers. This is a strange one. Okay, let me see the situation and reasoning. The owner and the manager of a coffee shop disagree about whether allowing customers to pay for coffee on an honor system would increase the profit. Why? The reasoning: what would be the best evidence that the honor system would increase profit even if many customers cheated the system? The owner argues that the profit would increase because many customers would choose to pay as much as for more than before. The total number of customers would likely increase. But the managers point out that the many customers would also choose to pay little or nothing. Assuming that the manager is correct about what further support would the owner present for the claim that the plan would still be profitable? Okay. So the question was, which one of the following, if true, would best support the owner's plan in the light of manager's concern? Okay, the manager's concern is that there will be loss because someone will not pay, and the owner will have to justify with something that there will be profit. So my reasoning was the new system, if implemented, would increase the number of customers, but here it is unclear the number of increased customers will pay or will not pay, or will they pay more or not. So there will be error in judging how much will be the profit. Okay, I can understand this was incorrect. By roasting coffee, these are all, since the owner has already basically asserted this, asserting it again would not provide any significant additional support to the plan. This suggests, number B, this suggests that the shop is already profitable, not that the owner's plan would make it more profitable. By roasting one coffee, the shop has managed to reduce difficulties, the cost of maintaining an inventory of freshly roasted coffee. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Okay, see, customer who stay in the cafe for long stretches would not necessarily pay more. Yeah, this is unrelated. E, the reason no other coffee shop in the area has an honor system may be that their owners and managers have determined that it not be profitable. Why this is correct? If the customer's base increases, as both the owner and the manager seem to agree, more customers will likely purchase highly profitable pastries and other food, thus boosting profit. Okay. The shop makes substantial profit from pastries and other food bought by the coffee drinkers. Okay, so yeah, this seems a strong point, but the shop makes a substantial profit from pastries and other food bought by the coffee drinkers. But it is not clear whether the profit will come or not come if they do not buy the pastries. This is unclear, and this was the reason I omitted this option, because we do not know that with the increase on customer there will be increase in buying pastries and all these things. Okay, so this actually states directly that the shop makes substantial profit from pastries. So profit is already made by the shop and in substantial amount from pastries. So even if they don't pay for coffee, they are not losing money. But in that sense, option B should also be correct. By roasting its own coffee, the shop has managed to reduce the difficulties and cost of maintaining an inventory of freshly roasted coffee. Okay. But this does not say anything about profit. Therefore, it was eliminated. But this one says about profit. Okay, seems correct. Now let's move to 745 just to see why did they eliminate option D. 745. Moderately large city redesigning. Okay. Option D was, if the proposed restriction on drivers are rigorously enforced, more people will likely be attracted to downtown business than otherwise. KD is, it might be the case that rigorously enforcing lane restriction will attract more people to downtown business than would otherwise be the case, but the information does not indicate how strictly lane restrictions will be enforced. Okay. So the reasoning they have given, how strictly, how much strictly it will be enforced. So it leaves a gap. Therefore, they have omitted. Whether I chose this one as correct because it is a proved scenario. If other moderately sized cities that have made their downtown areas more accessible to pedestrians and cyclists have seen the downtown business begin thrive soon afterward, this is an evidence. Yeah, that's what I am speaking. It is a pattern proof. The pattern means the application has been proved earlier, even if not conclusive, that the changes produce the thriving. Consequently, it is reasonable to think that the same will result in the city of question. Okay, that sounds fair. Okay, so that's all for today. I scored by around 90% correct. Just I need to be 100%. Okay, thank you everyone. I will see you in the next video.